Okay, everybody. Okay, everyone. We're live. We're live. Apologies for the delay there. So just still waiting on just a few more people to come. But it's Old Man G here, back again with another Red Devil Studio live podcast. Quite a few topics to discuss. Some interesting topics, even that. So if you're new to the channel, just remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, United X, and smash that notification button for the latest Manchester United news. So just 2 seconds. So I'm joined obviously with the regulars, LB, Tom, and KSI. Shout out for the shout out to everybody if you can.
Thanks for having us this morning, guys.
Sorry.
Yep.
We're literally all over the place this thing. Anyway, let's get into it. Liverpool winning the title. We're still waiting for a resonated Liverpool fan to basically get into the chat. He's very keen to have his say on this sort of thing. So, but Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool winning the title, guys. I mean, it's tough. It really is tough. I mean, this guy, obviously, he's Jurgen. He's very. I can't hate Jurgen, to be honest. I think he's actually quite a lovely human being. I think he's done quite a lot for. I think he's done quite a lot for Liverpool in such a short period of time. What are your thoughts? Where do I start? Like, I mean, like, I think in the first form, like Liverpool, obviously, this is their first Premier League title in what's been like 30 years in terms of a title. And rather than because I'm waiting for Sean to basically just come in and basically give his say. I think the question for you guys specifically is, what can Liverpool achieve? What more can Liverpool achieve going forward?
All right.
So let's go to I'll go to go to KSI first. Okay, what's your thoughts?
As you all know, like, I'm a United fan. I'm a young United fan. Look, Liverpool won the title, and I've seen lots of people, disrespecting them. Look, I'm very surprised. Like, when I'm like older, like when I'm 18, 19, hopefully I'm always gonna remember like Liverpool winning the title in my lifetime, and that scares me. Like, look, Liverpool, personally, this might be ridiculous. This might be like stupid, but I think Jurgen Klopp is Liverpool's greatest ever manager.
I don't think that's stupid. I think that's potentially valid. So why do you think that he's the greatest ever manager?
Because he is the man. Like, basically, if Oli makes United Premier League champions, hopefully, I'm always gonna look at what he started off with, because nobody believed in him. Nobody thinks that he's gonna be a great manager for us. Nobody actually everyone thinks he's a clown, and we got a board like that. So if Oli wins the Premier League title, I think he is one of the greatest managers in Premier League history if he wins the title. And you guys might think I'm like I'm a joke, but you have to look at what they started off with. Jurgen Klopp has built an amazing team. Amazing team. They won a Premier League title after 30 years. Red Devil, what would you be like if United won a Premier League in 30 years? I would be celebrating for a week or so, man. Like, surely he's gonna come on, bro. He can't, like, 30 years. 30 damn years, and you've not won a Premier League title.
3 decades.
3 decades, yeah.
And I've never even seen Liverpool. I've never even seen United win a Premier League title. Because Liverpool, for me, personally, I think Jurgen Klopp, even though I think this is very, very sad to say, even Tom now, but I think Liverpool, this pains me. I think Liverpool will overtake United in Premier League titles in the next couple of years.
Okay.
That pains me, man. and hopefully Ollie can make us into challengers and dominate English football. But if you got Jurgen Klopp and you've got those players, like now, I think Liverpool will win the title for the next couple of years.
Okay, that's some grim stats. To be honest. Very grim stats. Let's go into Tom. Actually, Tom, what are your thoughts? How do you see? Obviously Liverpool winning the title. How do you see them going forward? Where do you see them going from here? Do you see them winning back-to-back titles, more Champions League? What are your thoughts here?
Oh man. Well, I was sat at home, just in the front room, and I was actually watching a box set and everything. I mean, I turned the telly over to BT Sport to watch the Chelsea game, and I saw the first goal in it, and I thought, all right, I'll turn back over, and then I turned back over again, and I saw that City equalised, and I thought, oh well, it's not going to be as bad because they'll do something. Chelsea, Man City will do as Man United a favour by getting Chelsea to drop points, and then but Liverpool would win the league. But I just had this weird, when you get that feeling of something's going to happen, you just get that feeling. I had this feeling that Man United were going to go over to Turin and beat Juventus, and we went and did it. I had the feeling that Jose Mourinho would be sacked after the Liverpool game, and it happened. And when I had that feeling, I just had the feeling that Chelsea were just going to break Manchester City down some way, and they did, and it was via a penalty. And when what KSI just said, that it's taken 3 generations of players, 3 decades worth of players to win a title, which I think is scary. All the years before Sir Alex Ferguson went to Manchester United, it took Manchester United 26 years to win a Premier League title. They don't actually know, 26 years. And we look at it as United fans now, because we've got a few of us on who are United fans. It's been 7 years since we've won the title, 12 years since we won the Champions League, and it's frightening stats when you look at it. And when you look at what Klopp's obviously done at Liverpool, he's gone in there, right man, selected the right man, and they went for a different approach, different play style, because obviously they had Brendan Rodgers in there who played more of a pressing game, a more possession-based game, whereas Jurgen Klopp plays more of an attacking creativity kind of style. And I think that it takes a couple of managers to learn what your club suits, what play style your club suits. Over the years of watching the greats, Sir Alex Ferguson, all these great managers, Pep Guardiola and stuff, you learn what style of football they play in a sense. Jurgen Klopp, he did the unthinkable at Borussia Dortmund. He knocked Bayern Munich off of their perch. Bayern Munich hadn't been beaten in the league for years. Jurgen Klopp went in there with, and when you actually look at it at Liverpool, they have got world-class players in there, undoubtedly, but it's not like they're standout individuals. It's a team unity. It's a team form, and it's formulated into amazing things. And when you actually look at it, Liverpool went to the Champions League final and obviously lost against Real Madrid. They went back the following year and won the Champions League. So they learned from the mistakes of last season. Then they went and lost the Premier League title to Manchester City, but then they've gone on this season and won it. So they've learnt from the mistakes over the years. And with what KSI said, it says that Man United hopefully are concerned us into title challenges. Now the thing is, I see it different. I see it where there's there's 2 kinds of attack, 2 kinds of ways of winning the league. There's challengers and then there's contenders. Challengers, i.e. Man United. Liverpool are 37 points ahead of Man United. It's a record that a team's been ahead of Man United. It's a record. It's a points record. When people say challengers, I think right. Well, you're not going to win the league, but you're going to close the points gap in a sense. You're not going to be 30 points behind the following. You're going to be 10 points behind, and that is exactly what Liverpool did. Liverpool I think it was the 17-18 season when Manchester City won the league by a massive points tally, and Man United came second. and Liverpool actually came fourth, and Manchester City were like 25 points ahead of Liverpool. And Liverpool, the following season, which was the 18-19 season, cut that down to 1 point. There was 1 point away, and when you actually cut it down, they turned from there was challengers the following year, and then they turned into contenders. And that's what I mean by Manchester City next season are a title contender. Manchester United and Chelsea are title challengers. Man United and Chelsea, I don't believe are going to go and win the league next year, but I think they're going to close the gap on Manchester City and close the gap on Liverpool. Liverpool, over the next 3 years, I expect to win at least 2 out of 3 Premier Leagues and at least probably win another Champions League. But when Klopp's contract goes, I think he'll leave the club in a good state. I think that'll be it. I think he'll want out. And he'll go on to do something else, maybe at another team or his national team. There's been talks of him obviously wanting to manage his native country of Germany. And I think he'd want to try and win a World Cup. That's an amazing achievement as a manager to go and win the World Cup. But in terms of obviously what they're going to do in the future, they've got, like Phil Thompson said, when they did the Liverpool Champions special on Sky Sports, and I watched that, and he had a comment that Phil Thompson said. He said that Liverpool have a back line, if you include it as Robertson, Arnold, Van Dijk and Joe Gomez, if you say them 4, they have a defence that can last a decade together. They've got 10 years in them. And when you look at how good Liverpool's defence have been this season, not just this season, last season, it's scary to think, oh, well, if they stay together, you look at how good Manchester United's defence were years ago, Arsenal's defence.
I mean,
they almost equal that.
But have a quick stat here. Man United, right? They're actually in the top 5 best defensive teams in Europe.
I was going to mention something about that. And it's like you said about before the show and everything about Maguire and that. Maguire is, I think there's a European statistic over the top 5 leagues in Europe, and he's the 3rd best for aerial duels that he's won, and obviously, tackling, inception, stuff like that, break-up play. And I think, these teams like Chelsea and Man United, they're building something, and they're using Liverpool as the project, should we say. Liverpool, it's in a sense, Liverpool have built a house with the blueprints and the plans, but over the years, Chelsea and Man United, and you could probably add Arsenal in that, they've tried building houses, but they've got no plans.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be built. But Jurgen Klopp went in there with plans, money, faith, passion, and he brought the belief back to Liverpool. And that is what have made Liverpool great again. Okay. Not necessarily the players, the owners or anything, the manager. When you get a manager right, you get a club right. You look at Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, made him right. And I'm not going to rabble on because I know I've gone on for a good bit there, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. And I think Liverpool are going to take over the division in the next 2 to 3 years, while other teams are still catching up and rebuilding.
Okay, fair enough. I'll say thank you for analysis, Tom. Before I get to LB, just want to quickly go for these 2 of these comments. Just I'm still engaging with the comments in the comment section. Don Wagner, who I know is quite a critic of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I read his comments. He does say that he feels like, to summarize his comment, he basically feels like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is almost killing his motivation for the game regarding United. And then his second comment, I mean, we're both doctors from what it seems, but it says, imagine being a radio medical registrar and your new boss was a locum public health doctor, not GMC registered. No, I get that joke. I know it, but yeah, you get that.
Nah, man, that's a bit harsh on Ole. That's a bit harsh on Ole, man.
I'm here to give because I think I want LB to speak. That's actually Sean. Actually, let me just add Sean into the chat. Shawnee, how you doing?
How's it going, guys? Very sorry. I am here now. I was having internet problems for some reason. It wasn't connecting, but regardless, I'm here now. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Shawnee.
I'm terrible, mate.
Yeah, are you sure you want to celebrate, Ian? Is that
No, don't even mention that. Don't celebrate.
Before we get into, let me just LB, just your thoughts on Liverpool, and then we're going to get a Liverpool fan, obviously, and Sean to give his thoughts about the whole situation. So, LB, what are your thoughts on Liverpool and what you feel they can achieve going forward?
Yeah, look, in terms of this year and the lead up into the title that they've been able to achieve, I mean, it was always going to happen. We knew that it was going to be the case at the beginning or halfway point of the season almost. In terms of the achievement as a whole for the Liverpool Football Club and for Jurgen Klopp, it's a phenomenal achievement given what they've sort of been through and like what K-Side and Tom was saying, after 30 years, which is obviously a very long time, and not the fact that Jurgen Klopp has done it, but he's done it in the space of about 3-4 seasons ever since he took up the job, 2015-16, if I'm correct, when Jurgen Klopp took over. So obviously the Liverpool Football Club have given him time to win this title, and in terms of the players that he's been able to do it with, I mean, you talk about players like Salah, Firmino, all these players that he's been able to sort of, I wouldn't quite say revive, but I mean, they were definitely, in my opinion, not even half the players they are today with their former clubs and when Jurgen Klopp did take over. So he's been able to achieve great things with Liverpool so far. The Champions League last season, and now the Premier League, which I know most Liverpool fans wanted most. In terms of future achievements, I certainly think that he can continue to achieve a lot more trophies and get more success with Liverpool. This is a team that I think a lot of their players are still have about 3-4 years in their contracts left. In terms of Champions League football, look, I'm not going to take anything away from what they achieved last season in winning the Champions League, because look, a lot of the teams that they played were sort of in the process of rebuilding. But look, like I said, I'm not taking away anything that they were able to achieve last season by winning the title. As for future Champions Leagues, I certainly think that they can really contend for more titles in the Champions League with Jurgen Klopp as manager, and as long as they sort of do their very best to hold on to their players as well. But overall, fantastic achievement for Liverpool Football Club, for Jurgen Klopp, and it's good, as painful it is to say. You got to take your hat off to them.
Fair enough, LB. Thanks. Good to see you, Montar, in the background as well. Before I get to you, though, let's bring. Well, actually, I'm just going to quickly adjust this comment, actually. So, hey, sorry. So, shout out to Red Devil Weekly, and please head over to his channel to subscribe. He posts a lot of good content. Appreciate it, buddy. If we give Ollie time and a large budget, we will get back to being contenders and not challengers. Klopp took 4 seasons, which shows what happens when you back the process. That is true. I don't know whether our fans have the patience, and I also don't know whether he'll be backed with because the Liverpool owners are clearly better in that respect than the United. Shawnee, as the resident Liverpool fan, how are you feeling about the title success? What do you think of Jurgen Klopp, and how do you see Liverpool going, forward, after this whole sort of thing?
Yeah, obviously, I can now honestly say that we have won at 100% the weirdest time. Like it's a Premiership win, but at the same time, it's definitely won under strange circumstances. It's been a long time. I was 5 years old last time Liverpool won the Champions League, won the Premiership, or won the title, and it's just. Yeah, like I honestly thought we were going to do it last season. We ended up being a point behind, and it was just unfortunate. City just did an absolutely terrific job. And I remember in the podcast leading up to this season of like, what do you say to the players? You know, what do you say to them? Like, do you say to them, okay, just go undefeated this season? And we almost did, you know. So like, whatever it was that Klopp said, it obviously worked, and it just didn't work out for Man City, and we were just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. And yeah, I'm really proud of the boys. They're one thing I can say about this team is they're a real likable bunch of lads. You know, in terms of off the field, I'm not really that interested in what the footballers get up to, providing that they perform on the field. But this group of boys that Jurgen Klopp's managed to gather together, they're just genuine good lads. You know, there's no like super big personalities there anywhere. You know, they're just all down to earth, like good guys. And yeah, I just couldn't be more proud of them. And they're the kind of group of lads that you just want to hang out with, you know, and just like go and chat with, you know. So yeah, I mean, Klopp, you mentioned what do I think of Klopp? I mean, his starting 11 was Mignolet in goal, Skrtel at the back, Sacco next to him, Moreno on the left, Klein on the right, Cannon, Lucas in the middle, Coutinho, Lallana, Milner, and Sturridge up front. That was the team that he inherited, and you can just see what he's built now. You know, he's just built a world class team, and one that, you know, okay, they didn't break all the records this season. You know, we didn't go unbeaten, but I definitely think we could have. And yeah, I like I say, proud of the players, proud of Jurgen Klopp. I'm sure that he is he's doing exactly the same. He's saying exactly the same right now. You know, he's proud of the lads. He's built a winning mentality into them. You can see that week in and week out on the pitch. You know, they want to go out there, they want to win. You know, whenever they're confronted with a team like even the top team like Man City, when we beat them 3-1, you know, they were huffing and puffing, and it wasn't even half time. It just shows that spirit, that winning mentality that was drilled into them by Jurgen Klopp was just bleeding through them. You know, it was just oozing through their pores. And yeah, so like it's just been an absolute amazing season to watch. I think just even for the neutral, to see a team perform as well as this. I remember like for instance Josh coming up to me just like saying like he's like I just want to watch Liverpool play, you know, because that's the sort of style of football that they're playing. They're just playing really entertainment. Hard driven football and heavy metal football, as Klopp calls it. So yeah, even though it's been a really long time, it's not like Liverpool haven't done anything in that time. It's just been a long time since we won the title. And then going forward, I think was your last question, which going forward, I've got nothing but excitement. You know, I'm kind of glad that we didn't get Werner. Timo Werner, even though, you know, he's a tremendous player and taking nothing away from him, there was obviously some sort of disagreement somewhere between him and Klopp, because they did meet. So there was obviously something, and I don't want any disruption to come into this team now. So whoever wants to come in has to be equally as at the standard as what everybody else is at. You know, to make sure that there's no disruption. Like for instance, I wouldn't want a Pogba coming into the club, you know, because he's just his antics on and off the pitch are I think would disrupt like our rhythm that we're in now.
I'm going to address that because I actually think that Pogba is the very player you need at Liverpool Football Club. But I'll let you speak. Go, keep on speaking.
Yeah. No, like I say, if he had the right attitude, I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm just saying that you know, possibly his attitude needs addressing. There's a couple of times where he made a few, you know, mistakes that the fans weren't happy with. You know, like swapping shirts with a player before you get down to the tunnel and all that kind of stuff. You know, he was kind of like careless, and he just bumbled around with, without any concern for anything. And he's learned since then, but yeah.
I think a lot of that, and a lot of that has been played up by the media, though, because when you see what a lot of his what the coaches and what the players say, they have nothing but positive stuff to say about him. So I sort of see your point, but I do think a lot of that has been overplayed by the media, who will often sort of, everyone thinks like, oh, Pogba this or Pogba that. Like this year, for example, he hasn't said anything. He's been in for quite some time, and yet everyone sort of says, oh, but he's like that, about this. He was at a wedding where he should be a training. You're like, and he comes back into the squad, and he's arguably our best player. So
definitely.
I'll come back. Go on.
Like I say, it's just. I was just using him as an example as disruption. I wouldn't want anybody coming into the club that would disrupt the rhythm that we're in now. With that being said, you got to be careful on who's, because of course everyone in the club is going to be backing him. But people that are close to the club that aren't actually in the dressing room, like Roy Keane and Gary Neville, they've voiced their opinions about him. Very, very harshly. And
they don't say anything about Jesse Lingard. You can't be criticizing Paul Pogba all the time, for example, but you don't see anything about Jesse Lingard or Phil Jones.
Yeah, the criticise player who's been injured for most of the season. The conversation always turns to him.
But anyway, because we need to. Shawnee, just so I finish your point, and then I need to get on target. I'm sorry.
So going forward, I can see that Klopp's making the right steps. There was obviously something in the Timo Werner deal that he wasn't 100% on, and he gave it up, and he just said, okay, if you're not going to be part of our establishment here and what we've built, then then I guess I'm sorry. Quality player, but you can see that Klopp has intelligence to understand, okay, I need to be bringing in the right players here, and he's doing that. So I'm looking forward to the summer. Going forward, unless a whole bunch of players leave, I don't think we're going to be weakened by any of it. And I think that we can make the right decisions, going forward. And I don't know why anybody would want to leave. We've just won the Premiership. We've lost. We didn't do as well as what we did the year before in the Champions League, but that doesn't mean we're still not contenders. We were still contenders in the Champions League, and won the Premiership. It's I don't understand why anybody would want to leave. So I think going forward, Klopp's intelligent. I don't think people would want to leave Klopp as well. Like I think he's probably the best manager in the world right now. So why would you want to go anywhere else? So it's just we got to enjoy the moment. That's what Klopp said, and I completely agree. We've got to enjoy this moment right now because we don't know what's going to happen going forward. And so it's gonna. I think it's going to be a great 5 years from now. It's going to be a good 5 years of this squad that we've got present.
Okay, fair enough. Just 1 second, because I've got to just go. So there's 2 questions in the chat from Rasmus A and Don Magna. I will get to those questions, Don Magna. I will, but I just want to bring Montaha in just to have his final thoughts before we move on to the next topic, and then address those 2 questions. So Montaha, what are your thoughts on Liverpool, Klopp, and the following season? You there, Montaha? Montaha? Are you there? Ooh, not sure where he's gone. Okay, fine. Okay, maybe it's going back. Okay. So just going to the questions, because we do need to move on because we're already half an hour into the stream. The quick questions. So Rasmus actually says, just wanted to address this. We're waiting. Montaha's back. Montaha, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy. Yeah. So
sorry. Yeah.
No, you're okay, man. What are your thoughts on Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool, and how you see them going forward?
Like for me, bro, like I was expecting this thing, Liverpool to thrash, all the teams in Prem, because last season, like they showed us, like okay, like they're capable of winning Premier League. They lost by 1 point, which was too harsh for them. I believe it's like 98, 97 points was like just 1 point difference. Ultimately, after losing to Real Madrid in the final, then they came back again and they won Champions League, and like that was really impressive. So I believe that's what I was expecting, last season when they lost to Man City. We all knew that like Liverpool's going to come really stronger with extra motivation, and that's what they're going to do, and that's what happened, to be honest. And once they beat Man City 3-1, I mean, like we all know that ultimately, how Klopp is going to, finish the Premier League, And I think so. This is the first time in Premier League history that the team wants the title so early, right? I know 7, 8 games more left to play, and like for the first time it happened. That's again, oh my god, astonishing achievement, bro. I mean, unbelievable. And if you see the journey of Liverpool from 2015, 2016 final, losing to Emirates, Sevilla side, and then again bouncing back after that in Champions League, and losing in. I mean, the journey was really long. The way they like handled the pressure and like the expectation of the old school Liverpool fans as well. From like, I mean, there was like a massive pressure on them because like we can understand that, because like this team was better than 05 Liverpool side, even 03, 02 and all those, Liverpool side. So there was a pressure, there was expectation. They said, okay, at least win Premier League title, but they didn't win one just Premier League title. They won Champions League, and which was more than impressive. 2 times in the finals in a row. I mean, this team, what Klopp did. I mean, Liverpool fans should build a statue, man. Outside like they have to. I mean, unbelievable thing, bro. And when I see this team, how this team functions, bro. I mean, for me, I think so. Klopp is that kind of manager, even if he wants to stay, right, if he wants to commit his future with this team, and even some of the crucial players, like for example, Mane, Salah, someone like that, right? If they want to leave, this guy can replace them. And I believe that, because this guy is a really best manager in world football right now. From last 2 seasons, bro, this guy's undisputed the king of the manager, man. I mean, his management, his tactics, everything is spot on, bro. Okay. What I see with the club, how he runs this Liverpool Football Club, and even FSG, they backed him up really well. I mean, the sold Coutinho. People thought that okay, it's going to be end of this Liverpool team. I mean, not end, but in a sense, the end of the cycle of this Liverpool team. Because there was a Fab Four, Fantastic Four, whatever they used to say, and like Coutinho was a star man of those Fantastic Four, and he left, and everything was so dull. Like there was no expectation, but immediately Klopp knows the signing, bro. He replaced Coutinho with Alisson and Van Dijk, which was again really great stuff by this manager. So man, for me personally, if you ask me, 98 to 97% of credit goes to Klopp, man. I mean, the players were good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Van Dijk and like Salah, Mane, Firmino, even Hendo this season is like amazing, But for me, what this manager did, he breathed in a new life into this club. I mean, he just when he joined this club, I mean, he said, forget about the past failure, forget about all those Gerrard incident, everything, I mean, this guy's like, he knows how to build a structure of a club, and that's what he worked on it, the foundation, and that's what he delivered now, the trophy. So let's talk about the future, right? So like the people says like I think Shawnee said that. I mean, they don't need a player like Pogba. Actually, they need a player like Pogba. You need to I mean, in a sense, invest in your creative mindset of the team, because look, next season again, it's a question, right? Premier League is easily achievable. When I mean easily achievable, means the quality of this team is so high, right? Okay, and they're motivated. I believe that they are still motivated because they want to replicate, what Man City did in the Prem, 198 points, and also they're in the competition with Man City Football Club. So so it's like they want to also have their own legacy in England, in English football. Like, for example, likes of United have, likes of like Arsenal used to have, Chelsea's, Mourinho's Chelsea, So it's like they want to build their dynasty, English dynasty in a sense. So I think definitely they have right chance of winning Premier League next season with this current squad. But like, how can you challenge with this team in Champions League? Because that's then the question. Because when it comes to Champions League, you need to keep on, I mean, for example, rebuild your team. You need a creative side, because what we saw against Atleti, I mean, many teams have figured it out. Because look, what happens, right? In one season, like for example, in the first season you're playing in Champions League, and once you win it, okay, people will say, like in that season, people won't, like, the other clubs most probably they won't put that attention in your tactics and your how to break it down. But immediately once you lift the title of UCL, next season is so challenging, and that's what we see what happened with Liverpool this season against Atleti. So for me, again, it's really difficult to say, are Liverpool one of the contenders? Possible, you never know. But still, they need like a players of midfield number 10 creative mindset. I don't trust Naby Keita, to be honest, bro. I'm the most neutral guy over here, because I'm not a United fan, not a Liverpool fan. So I don't think Naby Keita works for them. I think that they need a player more creative mindset. For example, Fabian Ruiz, for me, I think was like better replacement for Hendo as a creative number 8, and like all those, one or two players, something like that. Aside from that, they have 2 great goal scorers players. They have good defenders. I think they are linked with Koulibaly as well, which is a step ahead as well. I mean, when Koulibaly, if they sign Koulibaly, that's insane, man. I mean, yeah, man. So the future of this team is really bright. Okay. It depends upon the club how he sees which player he should go with. Yeah, and can they win Premier League next season? Yes, possible.
Okay, thanks, Mansar. Let me just quickly ask Sean 2 quick questions from the chat, because I think they're more directed at him, and then we're going to move on to a next topic. So about 40 minutes we're talking about Liverpool, so nobody wants to talk about Liverpool anymore. Sorry, Shawnee, but so quick question. This is directed to you, so I just want Shawnee to answer them, just because we need to just move on. Don Ragnar in Stormy says, do you think that Liverpool should move Salah on and get another right world-class inside forward? What's your thoughts on that, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, you've known my thoughts on Salah like for quite some time. Like if Salah would leave the club, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because there's many people that could replace him that maybe don't need as many chances as what he needs to score a goal. And don't get me wrong, when he's on form, he only needs one chance to score a goal. But throughout the season, you can see that he sort of drifts a little bit, and sometimes he's lost in the game. But Klopp, he's got huge allegiance towards Salah, so like he just keep him on, even though when he has games like that, which there has been quite a few. I'd take him off and replace him for Ox, get a bit of flair and a bit of fire in there, because sometimes he does go missing. But that's not to say that he's not a quality player. He is a quality player. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there is quality out there that could replace him on a more consistent basis. So if Salah was to leave, which I seriously doubt, because Klopp's such a massive Salah fan and Salah is so comfortable there right now, I seriously doubt anything will happen to Salah. If something did, I would look at it as a positive, because I think that's great. He's in my fantasy football team at the moment, but he hasn't been. Like, it's only just recently, over like just before the quarantine happened, that I actually had him in my team, because I wasn't. Yeah. So
well, just Sami actually, who's I know is a Liverpool fan, actually says 3 golden boots incoming, and you're saying that there's better players. Salah is crazy underrated.
Yes, could be right. I mean, it might be me that's underrating him. It's just that he needs an awful lot of chances. If you put him in a lower league club, he wouldn't get as many chances as what he gets in Liverpool, and he'll be drifting around clubs because he wouldn't be able to do the job that he's there to do. Look, I'm not. I'm making it out to sound like Salah is a bad player. I'm not saying Salah.
Shawnee, I have a question for you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You. Okay.
Yeah.
Which player you will replace Salah with?
I mean, Jadon Sancho is the obvious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Jadon Sancho is the obvious replacement there. So like you could. Yeah. Even I one of them two. I don't think Mbappe is an option, just because. Yeah, Mbappe, brilliant. Yeah, okay. If Mbappe wants to come, but he wouldn't be getting the wages that he wants.
Quality.
Yeah,
No, but come on, you have to be realistic as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mbappe, yeah. If Paris Saint-Germain are really wanting like 160 mil for him or something like that, then no, I don't think I can't see Liverpool.
I can't see Liverpool paying that now.
No. Like, so I think it'll be one of them. It'll be like Traore, perhaps, or Jadon Sancho, like one of them two. But yeah, no.
I just want to comment over there. I just want to comment on that, right? Jadon Sancho is really better footballer than Salah, but I cannot trust him to give me those numbers in his first 2 seasons. What Salah's giving 20, 25 goals, I believe, you know, and like on average.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dicey. That's dicey.
Keeping in mind he's younger. You know,
I mean, no, definitely. But for example, right, Liverpool is right now what they're at the heights. You know, they're at the peak, and then immediately you need that prolific goal scorer, like a player who will definitely give you 25 Gs a season minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not Jadon Sancho right now.
Yeah, definitely
He's
not.
a great player.
I'd love to. His development under Klopp, I think, would catapult him into superstardom. I really do. I think if Klopp got hold of someone like Jadon Sancho, even Mbappe, I think even Mbappe would thrive under like Klopp's.
Yeah, you look at what he's done with Trent, straight from the academy. Young player, 19 years old.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So
world class talent.
Yeah. And once again, it's making me sound like that I don't like Salah, or that if he stays at the club, brilliant. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, if he does decide to leave, if for whatever reason, I have no idea why someone would want to leave Liverpool right now. But if he did, I wouldn't see it as the end of the world. That's all I'm saying. I just think that we could replace him with somebody else. Yeah, it might take him a season or two to fall into.
One-man team.
Yeah, that's it.
Like Ronaldo, people.
Let me just sorry, just because we have to move on. So, Rasmus, I'm going to get to this question because it's a very important question, but we'll address it towards the end. Just one last question for Sean, because I did say I was going to address the comments, so it should probably just be brief, and maybe it might be brief. Was Minamino just signed as a shirt seller? Not shirt lifter to generate more revenue overseas. What are your so that's just a quick. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it was just he was cheap. Like I think $7 million for someone like Minamino, who was shown tremendous quality and potential at Salzburg. Yeah, so like he was just this young, vibrant and player that was bringing flair to the team, and he was offered to Liverpool for like 7-something million.
He scored against you, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored against us in the Champions League as well. So yeah, I if for someone like Minamino, if someone says, you can have him for 7 million, it's just like, all right, you just do it, don't you? You just do it and take a chance on him, because worst thing comes to worst, you sell him on for 10 million.
But didn't Minamino, like, the Liverpool game, didn't he put Van Dijk like on his ass?
I don't know about
in the Champions League in the Champions League group stage.
Yeah, because Van Dijk was definitely on the pool. I can remember that.
I don't know.
Messi did the same thing.
Going back to the question, I think just Minamino, he was just one of them sort of flair players that was making a Salzburg team look great, and 7 million, you take a gamble on 7 million, don't you? And I haven't seen much of him, to be honest. Like I say, he was straight away under fire as soon as he came into the club, and he didn't gel well with the team from some of the I guess gossip that I was hearing in and around the crowd, like in and around the club. So whether that was true or not, I don't know. But still, 7 million quid. You just for a player like Minamino, you just do it, don't you? You just and you don't know. Like, next season he might be involved a little bit more, and we might actually see what he can do, what he's capable of.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Then let's move on. I'm seeing some interesting debate between Sammy and Average Joe in the comments. So United versus Liverpool. So I'm in the comments on because it's a very interesting debate that's going on between which one's better. So, but we're going to actually move on.
Sammy better not mention Rash.
We're not talking about Rashford.
We're not talking about him.
Not.
We're not talking about him.
We're actually talking about this. And we probably have to need some more because I've still got three or four topics to talk about actually, because I think this is quite important.
Yes.
And it's this man, it's Manchester City, because I'll just say my 2 cents first before I open up to people in the comments.
Ball
Manchester,
genius.
I think that there's a lot to be said about Manchester City in the next year or so. I think the big things are, City, obviously, we're going to be looking at the transfer, the potential, not transfer, sorry, Champions League ban. We're going to be hearing about that within the next week or so. Pep Guardiola, I only realized this yesterday. Pep Guardiola is actually going into his last year in terms of contract with Manchester City. A lot of players have been asked about their futures, like Sterling, De Bruyne, have been very very. Sané, well, Sané's obviously gone, so he's left.
Yep.
Aguero is his old. David Silva's obviously going towards the end of the season, or Phil Foden's there. And suddenly for a second, you're going to have a Manchester City that, in my opinion, is going to struggle. Now, we're still waiting on what's going to happen with the ban, although rumors say that they're probably going to get at least a year with another year being suspension. That's what people are saying. I could be wrong.
You're getting a massive fine.
Massive fine. Pep Guardiola obviously has been asked about his future beyond 2021. He's not committed to it, and other players haven't. So, for me, I think going into the final of the season, I think all these factors potentially mean that City's challenge, it puts pressure on City to win the Champions League, puts pressure on Pep to win the Champions League this season. And then next season, I think you're going to have all these factors in the background that might mean that Pep Guardiola's final season, as we saw with Bayern Munich to a certain extent, might not be that great. So I think they're going to struggle. I think a lot of it will depend on what about this ban and whether or not it will obviously whether or not it'll be implemented or not. But even still, I think they've got to rebuild, and it looks like Pep Guardiola may not be around for said rebuild. So I want to just obviously let me know what you guys think in the comments. In fact, before I go, let's have a look. I mean, Sammy says Man City will struggle without Sané, which I agree with because I think it's one of their better players. And then Don Max, Man City's future is a bright champagne supernova across the Mancuban sky. As long as Ollie's at United, give him.
This guy needs to stop.
Give him some praise. Give him at least give him some positive. Come on, man, come on. So let me literally just go to LB, because I haven't. LB hasn't actually spoken for a while, so I'll actually bring in LB actually. And then K-Side, I know we have to head off soon. LB. What are your thoughts on the future of Man City, given everything that's been involved?
Look, I mean, one thing needs to be sort of cleared up first, if it hasn't. Let's just say, hypothetically, if City were to go and win the Champions League this season, what happens then? Are they still at risk of not being able to participate next season?
Say that again, sorry?
If City win the Champions League this season.
Yeah.
What happens?
They won't qualify for next year.
Yeah.
They won't qualify for next year.
No, they won't. UEFA have like put some clause in or something about that. I don't know. That's what I've heard anyway.
Sure. So, like you were saying, Red Devil, that puts a lot of pressure on Man City to win the title or to win the Champions League, because this might be the last time they play in a Champions League in about 1 or 2 seasons. And let's just say if they get the 1-year ban, possibly goodbye De Bruyne, goodbye Pep, definitely Sané. So it's not looking good for City in terms of the future and the players in which they have. So look, it's I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not they're going to actually get this 1-year ban. But look, regardless of whether it's 1 year or 2 years, it's definitely not going to be a good thing for Manchester City. And their players are going to sort of lose their patience as well, because De Bruyne, he wants a Champions League. Aguero wants a Champions League. Sané, he's going to want to play Champions League football as well. That's why he's going to Bayern Munich. So it's not looking very good for Manchester City.
And we're going to get, because Sammy's making a good question about will Pep stay at City. And so I think as I go around everyone's responses, I think everyone should probably mention that briefly in their response as to whether they think he will stay beyond, basically next year. I mean, and my opinion out there right now is simply no, he will not. Think of that really. So moving on from LB2, and we're going to probably have to keep it brief because there's quite a lot that we still need to go to, and TBF wants to come on to talk about Real Madrid. Sorry, 2 seconds on Albert. So Tom, your thoughts on the future of Man City?
Well, in terms of, if we're talking like the next year or two, like LB's just said about the ban and everything, it's not going to be good, you know. I think they'll struggle to keep, you know, a manager like Pep Guardiola. You know, he doesn't manage, not even in the Europa League, and without even European football at all. You know, I don't see how you can keep a big name over 20 years like Pep Guardiola out of it. You know, out of the picture of the Champions League and stuff. So if we're talking the next year or two, given the ban is still held in place, it helps out not only, you know, other teams. You know, it might help out whoever finishes fifth. It'll help out whoever finishes fifth. You know, a team like Wolves that's played amazingly nearly all season deserve to play in the Champions League, and I think that could be maybe their place in a sense. Or Leicester, Chelsea, Man United, whoever gets that. You know, I think they obviously deserve it. And with what I heard and everything, because I was going to tell you before the show actually started and everything. From what it appears that there's an agreement in place between the arbitration of sport and UEFA's done some sort of a deal in a sense where they'll cut down because whenever a club's not in the Champions League, they lose money, they lose TV rights, you know, coverage and everything from BT and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's reported every single season a team qualifies for the Champions League, they earn 50 million. So in a sense, if they're banned for 2 years, they lose 100 million. Manchester City would have to pay a fine if the ban isn't overturned of 100 million. So there they've lost 200 million. But with the deal that I've just said about with UEFA is that UEFA are going to cut the deal down in a sense to a year. So it's in place. So punishment has been brought down on Manchester City if we're breaking the financial rules. So in a sense, justice has been done. And then Manchester City would only lose 50 million, which to Arabs who earn millions of pounds every couple of hours, you know, that's loose change in a sense.
Yeah.
And with what I've just said about what you just said about, you want to briefly talk about Pep Guardiola next season. I think a manager like Pep Guardiola, like I've referred to already, has to be in Europeans' top competition. He has to be, you know, and I think. He's not obviously. If a manager wants to come out and say something, then he should say, you know, Manuel Pellegrini openly come out and said, you know, look, I'm leaving and I'm going to be replaced by Pep Guardiola. You know, he was a man about it, you know, and I think Pep Guardiola needs to stop hiding maybe the inevitable in a sense of if he wants to stay, say to the media, say to your fans, which are Manchester City fans, say to your fans, I'm here and I'm going to still support the club.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be there, just say, you know, I want out. You know, it's not a biased thing against the club or anything, but I want out of the club. And I think.
Sorry
to
interrupt, Tom, because I need to get Chaos into this. I think that I can understand from the point of view that they're both him and a lot of the players are waiting on this decision.
Yes.
And you can understand that that's going to have an impact on a lot of them and also like they weren't responsible for the situation. You know,
no, there wasn't. It's not Pep Guardiola's fault. It's not any of the players' fault. It's obviously the owners or the financial people who run the financial side of the club, and it's their fault that it's happened. And I'll just say just quickly, as I said there, in terms of one or two, see, you know, if they get banned and everything, that's going to have a major effect on the club, not just financially, domestically, everything, and even the manager situation. But if we're talking about, say, when you say future, you know, of Manchester City, we also got to think they've got some good young players coming through the ranks at Manchester City. Obviously, they had Jadon Sancho go through the ranks at Manchester City. They picked up a player like Raheem Sterling at a young age, and Pep Guardiola has turned him into an amazing talent. And there's one player who's in that Manchester City team currently, and I watched him. When was it? I watched him on Sunday against Newcastle. It was Phil Foden, and I think for a young player, he's a player who, in a sense, Manchester City need to replace David Silva. And if I don't see Phil Foden leaving Manchester City, so if Kevin De Bruyne leaves, these their major creative player, I think they've got a good replacement in 3 or 4 years' time when he develops his game and everything. In Phil Foden, and not just particularly for Manchester City. I think for England as well. We talk about England possibly going on and maybe winning the Euros and whatnot with a team that they would have with players like Sancho and Rashford and Maguire and all these players. So I think in terms of the future of Manchester City, short term it looks very dark and gloomy, but long term it looks they're going to have to rebuild. And if Pep Guardiola's not there, a manager like Pep Guardiola, and you look at the market now, who do you actually go and get? Who's going to take over a team that's not even playing European football? I don't think Pochettino would be interested. I don't think a manager like Nagel's going to be interested. So who do you go and get? Do you go and get Manuel Pellegrini back? He might take over the club for a couple of seasons. But it begs the question, obviously. But like I've said, short term, it's not going to be good for Man City. But maybe in the long term, they'll fruit the rewards with young talents like Phil Foden and that. So that's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Thomas, as always. I'm just going to get K-Side to come in because you said you have to head off. K-Side, what's your thoughts on the future of Man City and everything that's going on with that?
They have no fans. They have no crowd.
Okay.
Nobody has a crowd.
They don't even have a good squad anymore. Look, let's get into this. So I've been on about Man City being a great team, and I'll admit this, every time United played Man City, I felt, okay, I'm going to swear, I'm very sorry, I felt shit. Like, I'm so nervous. Every football fan, Tom, you must have felt this. Every time Man City play United, I just feel I can't even take it. I feel really, really nervous. Of course, the night before the derby, I always feel excited and optimistic we'll win. But every time I think, ever since Pep Guardiola came to City, every time I just think they're just gonna thrash us. It's not even they just scare me. And
I haven't really thought about that with Man City, not necessarily this season. But I fear if I was a manager like I was in Solskjaer's shoes, for example, I'd fear a manager like Klopp, who's obviously built a team. Liverpool can score 4 or 5 against you and embarrass you. Manchester City this season, they can't even defend. They've lost teams like Norwich, and it's simple goals, So go on, Kes. I don't want to interrupt you.
This might be weird, but every time we play Liverpool, I don't fear them. I think we'll win easily. I don't fear Liverpool. Man City was the team that I feared the most.
Yeah, when
that's
Guardiola
the team I feared the most in Europe. Except there's only 2 teams I fear the most in Europe. Before Liverpool and the league, of course. This season I fear Liverpool. City and Barcelona. Those were the 2 teams. If United played, Pep Guardiola, look, he's a good manager. Okay, he's a good manager. Jose Mourinho is a better manager. Klopp's a better manager. Fergie's a better manager. And
just focus on the future of the Manchester City point. Just because I've got to move on. So, how do you see them? Is Pep going to stay? How is City going to be next season with the ban? That's those I want you to kind of address.
Rumors about Man City a lot about their ban and all that, and look, they're finished as a top club now. I think they're not going to be a top club next season. I believe Pep Guardiola will stay, and I'll give you the reason why I think he'll stay. is because if this was Man United's owners and we got a Champions League ban, he would have left. But it's the Saudi owners. They'll give him money to make the squad better. Not that much, but he'll give them money to make the squad a very decent squad.
It's not all about money.
Yeah, it's not.
I think Pep Guardiola will stay at Man City. But as I said, Man City are finished top club. I think in the next 2 seasons, when United become a great team again and overtake, City, I think, and Chelsea overtake City, I think then Pep Guardiola will leave. Right now, he's in a good position. Right now, he knows that Chelsea and United are not at the position that they are yet. He knows that maybe next season, City can still challenge Liverpool. He knows that they're not on the level. He knows, even though we've got a good squad, Red Devil, Tom, we've got a really good squad, so is Chelsea. Man City are miles ahead of us. I think personally United have got a better squad, but the manager, I don't think Ollie's there yet. I think Ollie will become the guy to lift the Premier League trophy again.
I'm not talking.
I personally think that Man City, Pep Guardiola, it's gonna end soon. I think Pep Guardiola loved Man City because there's these Amazon Prime clips. Remember when they did Amazon Prime show or something like that? I can clearly see in his eyes that he loves City, but he's not going to stay forever. And controversial before I go, right? I think Pep Guardiola after Manchester City is probably going to retire. Same with Klopp. I think Klopp's going to retire after Liverpool. So I think they're going to retire. Maybe not Pep, but Klopp's definitely going to retire soon. So, look, that's my views. Thank you all. And before I go, I need to shout out some people in the chat. Sammy, Average Joe, of course, BD, who's going to take my place. Of course, they're having a debate about Liverpool and United. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I don't understand that. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold was a great player. I don't know why. Average Joe is
I'm going to wrap it up because I need to move on. So
I need other people to talk.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I'll just give you my socials and then I'll head off. Guys, follow me on YouTube at True Football. I'm gonna be doing a stream after Red Devil. Of course, I'll be in the chat and maybe ask some questions, but won't be regularly. And have a good one, guys. I'll be probably here next week, I say so. So thank you for having me on Red Devil, man.
No worries, buddy. Take care of yourself, man. See you later.
See you later.
Right. Okay. So apologies. I'm gonna come back to it. I know some of you guys have not talked obviously on City, but just because we've got TBF here, and I know he has to head off soon, but he wants to briefly talk about Madrid because I want to just bring this subject in, get you guys saying we'll come back to Man City, but specifically regarding top 4, Leicester, etc. towards the end of the stream. Again, just for sake of time, because we do need people to speak. Let me just sort of bring this up here. La Liga. Real Madrid in charge. Real Madrid in control. Barcelona dropping points again. And Real Madrid obviously winning thanks to some clutch moments by a certain Karim Benzema. So TBF is just joining, and BD, I know in the background, I'm going to bring you in a second, but just because I know TBF has to head off. TBF, what are your thoughts now, given that with what happened over the Liga over the weekend, on Real Madrid actually going on to win La Liga now?
Okay. Before I begin, big shout out to Muntaha, who's also a Real Madrid fan. I mean, obviously, I feel like he's also going to give a very good insight on the whole Real Madrid situation. I feel like this would be a really good topic. But okay, anyway, talking about Real Madrid in charge in the La Liga. Yes, in hindsight, yes, it does look like Real Madrid are performing better than Barcelona, but from a Real Madrid fan perspective, I see that there is still a lot of scope for improvement on a player-to-player level basis. On a team as a collective, I think they're doing well. I think they're doing better than Barcelona. And if you talk about why Barcelona has not been able to pick up points in the recent past, is that literally, I think the answer is so obvious. I think they depend on Lionel Messi so much. If you watch the last few Barcelona games, you can just see that in order to create chances, or in order to penetrate through defenses, in order to score goals, in order to assist, you need to have Lionel Messi's name on it. So I guess with the whole dependency on Lionel Messi that much is really affecting them, and really not allowing them to branch out as they really want to. And they've got all sorts of problems with the board. And recently Kike Setien has been reportedly, he's been said to have lost the dressing room apparently, and has also said that if Barcelona don't win the next two games, or if they lose against Atletico, I suppose Setien's going to take goodbye. He's going to be yeeted out of the club.
Yeah,
So
I don't about that.
So I don't know. It's such a messy situation right now for them, pun not intended. But it's like with Barcelona, I feel like due to the problems they're in, they're not able to fully thrive. As far as Real Madrid is concerned, I've watched all performances they've been. The latest Espanyol one was not actually that great, to be honest. We actually got away with W because they were not really good, with their chances. They weren't able to pick them properly. Otherwise, we'd have, got caught out in the initial minutes itself. But I mean, it is what it is. And, obviously Benzema is just on red hot form as of now. I feel like one notable criticism, or something that I'd really like to note from the whole Real Madrid performances lately, is that is one name I can think of, and it's Eden Hazard, of course. I mean, arguably probably the biggest name, I suppose, at Real Madrid right now, but always is a matter of is always a subject out of discussion when it comes to Real Madrid football. I feel like Eden Hazard's not doing enough. Eden Hazard needs to do a lot better. It's like he
TV. Actually, I want to interrupt you. Actually, sorry,
Okay.
that's rude. I know, but like, I want to interrupt you there. Do you
Okay.
know that Eden Hazard has been the most fouled player this season in La Liga?
I know, but
And do you know that Eden Hazard has been fouled every 23 minutes in La Liga? Thirdly,
yeah.
Real Madrid has been like saying, especially the board, they might launch a complaint in La Liga that where opposition team and players, they deliberately, trying to injure on his ankles where he suffered the same injury twice, in the same place twice. So
Yeah.
so don't you see the pattern over there as well? Look, I'm not defending Eden Hazard as a performance point of view. I'm just giving you another background, or just think this way. I mean, definitely Eden Hazard is struggling. Definitely. But like, I will explain my mind at my own time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I totally understand the whole thing of Eden Hazard being fouled. In fact, I do believe that he was also fouled many times yesterday, but that's not my thing. He usually is so, what's the word? He's so dynamic in general. Like if you look at Eden Hazard, like going up front, whenever he's in his element, he is like the most threatening player out there, and he is like one of those ones who will definitely lead you to a goal. But with Eden Hazard, I don't see many dribbles that are being completed. I don't see regular goal scoring chances that he creates. And in fact, yesterday against Espanyol, he was actually playing in a second striker / inverted winger kind of role, and that's actually a role in which he thrives in. Because the other day I was just thinking, probably if Vinicius is too hard to bench as of now because of how threatening he is going up front, then probably Vinicius could play wide, and Eden Hazard can play behind the striker, as a number 10. But again, against Mallorca, Vinicius again totally in a in a performance point of view, not in a stats wise.
So just because we've got a few people in the backstage wanting to
Right. So it's just that I feel like Eden Hazard needs to he needs to do much more. He needs to play better. He needs to. The thing is, like with the signing of Eden Hazard, there's so much stake, and he needs to involve. He needs to understand that the stakes of being at Real Madrid and how important that is. So I think like he should be reminded of that aspect, and we shouldn't really be patient with him anymore as we have been, because I feel like we've been very patient with him. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough, buddy. Thanks for your thoughts on that. So let me move on to, well, obviously Muntaha, just your quick thoughts, and I'll go to LB, so I haven't spoken a while about it. Muntaha, your thoughts on Real Madrid title challenge? Do you think they can go on? Basically, can they win the Liga this season?
Bro, still like there is a element of like 2 games. I believe it's really difficult for us. Okay, it's Atletico Bilbao away, which was like the next game after this one. So like it's I think so, I believe it's on Wednesday. I think so we have to play. Sorry. On Sunday, we have to play against Bilbao. Yeah, Sunday or Saturday, something like that. I mean, the coming weekend, and the second last game against Villarreal, which is at home. So I believe those 2 games will decide. I mean, who's going to win the league? But right now, if you see, we have the best defense in the league in the Spain. Actually, sorry, not in Spain, in the Europe. Sorry, yeah, we considered like I think second least goals we consider in the season. Like I think we are ahead of Liverpool in terms of least goals. Yeah, we have the most clean sheet in Europe. Okay, we have one of the most productive midfielder stats from the season from our midfielders. We have like one of the best what do you call second half goals, most goals scored in the second half, or second in any game. So that's like one of the most impressive stats, I believe. So I think so overall we are better as a team than Barcelona. That's not even a doubt. But when it comes to left winger or right wingers, we don't have wingers. When I mean we don't have a wingers, means goal scoring wingers. Okay, Eden Hazard's been like, for me, I'll just talk Eden Hazard later on. First I explained like the difference between Real Madrid and Barca. So Eden Hazard keep on getting injured. Vinicius in the first half of the season, he didn't show up. He's 19. I mean, come on, you need to give him time on what he's doing. Performing constantly against big teams like Atleti, Barcelona, and scoring against Barca. I mean, that's insane for me, I think so. Yeah, then we have like injury problems for Luka Jovic as well. I mean, the guy was like, injured, and like his antics and an attitude issue, man. So yeah, that's another problem. Then we have likes of Gareth Bale as usual. We know that Gareth Bale's like being complacent and is not anymore interested to participate in the team's title race and all those things. I mean, so I mean, that guy's also out of the equation, Then we left with Asensio. That guy was also injured, so he came just back, So for us, like, it's pretty much the goal scoring outlet in our team is Karim Benzema, and that's what we had solely dependent in terms of attack. Goal scoring outlet is Karim Benzema, and yeah, I forgot one more thing to address. And we are the only team this season in the history of La Liga who have 20 different goal scorers. I mean, there's no other team in the history of La Liga have more goal scorers. Like for example, we have 20 different players. Like Modric, this is the highest goal scoring season of Modric. Like even Toni Kroos. And we have Casemiro, all these guys, Valverde, Isco, and all the other guys. So we have 20 different goal scorers. So our second highest goal scorer is Sergio Ramos with 8 goals this season in La Liga. And Karim Benzema like 17 goals. So it shows that we pretty much lack another goal scoring outlet in our team. Aside from we have like loads of creativity. Our defensive stats are like super impressive, and even like goalkeeping, Courtois redeemed himself a lot. So that's the difference between us and Barcelona. Barcelona is pretty much struggling whenever they play away, because that's like natural. Because like if you see, I mean, Kiki Setien playing Lionel Messi like 4 or 5 games continuously, man. I mean, that guy's not giving a rest to Messi for like even for 10 minutes, So that's insane, man. I mean, his management has been poor, man. Sorry, I don't know how to defend this guy. Ernesto Valverde, I mean, like, once they sacked Ernesto Valverde, they did a big mistake, but I don't want to, stretch those points. I'll just come to the Eden Hazard perspective. First of all, if you see Eden Hazard, right, definitely he's unprofessional. when he showed up overweight, definitely that's unprofessional, right? Okay, and he got injured, like at the start of the season, so he missed 5 games because of hamstring injury, because of his overweight, and he was trying to stretch his muscles, everything. He missed 5 games immediately. After that, he came back. He was showing up some big numbers. He was showing up. If you see his stats, when Eden Hazard used to play at that time, this first half of the season, whenever he played, we have more scoring outlets. He creates more. We have scored more goals. Yeah. Okay. Then again, it was unfortunate that he was injured in Champions League against PSG, which he performed really well. He was supposedly the man of the match against PSG second leg in the group stages, but he was injured. He was out for 3 months, 2 months, 2 to 3 months, something like that. He came back again. Okay, and he was injured against Real Betis, where he performed poorly, definitely, but he was injured again. Unfortunate, but people won't see that, like how many times in La Liga they are trying to foul him. Again, he came back. Fortunately, this time, pandemic. 3 months he missed the game, missed the football and everything. He came back now again, thrice actually he missed the game. Pretty much 50 to 60% of the season that he missed the games because of injuries. I know some of his, like, initially the first injury is just because of his unprofessional attitude of being overweight, not being, committed to the club, definitely. But this happens. This is not everybody is Cristiano Ronaldo. Not everybody is Ronaldo. When you directly come from Manchester United to England, to Spain, it's England. It's completely different culture for football when it compares to Spain and Real Madrid. In Chelsea, you don't challenge technically every year for titles. Yes, you have ambition with that.
And so I'm going to wrap you up just to
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'm just finishing off. Bro, it's like cultural change, man. I mean, I don't understand how come Madrid fans be so optimistic of, okay, or even I expect him so much where clearly he's been struggling. Twice he's been injured. He missed 60% of the game this season. He's coming back. Definitely, you need to give him time. You need, and as a Madrid fan, if you watched Madrid from last 10 plus season, you cannot expect a player in his first season, regardless of his star man, you cannot expect him in one season to make a difference. In one season, in his first season. That's it.
Thanks, Montana. Thanks, appreciate it. BD Core, because I know you want to address this, because you want to address what TBF said. BD Core, what's your thoughts on this Real Madrid sort of situation? BD Core, can you hear me?
Hello. Can
you
hear me?
Can hear you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So what's up, TBF? What's up, guys? What's going on, guys? I agree with what Monta is saying. I definitely agree. I think we need to give Hazard a bit more time. I'm not gonna lie, and I know a lot of people will insult me for this, but I agree with TBF in this sense that I actually think Dorgan has had a much better season than Eden this season. Because I just feel like goal scoring wise, Dorgan has scored more goals than him. But if you're talking about impact, I think impact wise, I think Eden's been, much better impact wise than Dorgan has.
Okay.
But again, like I said, I just want to say this. I think I'm so happy Monta pointed this out. Look at how many goal scorers are coming out from Real Madrid. You don't see that with Barcelona. And I've said this time and time again, nobody was listening to me, and I'm still alive. I'm still alive when I'm saying this. Without Messi, they are awful. They are an awful team to watch. They're not a good team to, see. And I will never say this in HH's channel. I'll only say this in your channel because you gave me the freedom to. But it's just facts. It's
Are you saying Messi is good?
Facts. No, I'm saying Messi is trash. I mean, because
Okay, yeah.
how many bro, they've depended on this guy for like ages. He's not delivering any goods for them. You put 3 or 4 or 5 guys on him and defend him, he can't do anything. And that's what Atletico's gonna do on Thursday. They're gonna put 3 or 4 or 5 guys on him, and he doesn't look human. He plays more human now. When you put 4 or 5 guys on him, he's no more playing like he's not a human. You see? So I think the thing here is,
you could argue, to be fair, there's an element that is to be expected because he's now in his 30s now, and obviously, like with any player, if you put 5 players around one individual player, so then they're going to struggle. So that's understandable. So I don't necessarily think that means he's trash. But sorry, go on. Oh, sorry. Before it sounds like stream red, thanks for the debate, Joe. We will address your questions. I know you posted some questions, Sammy, that we'll address. So feel free to come back towards the end because we'll address some of the questions that you put. So thanks for that. But take care. Go on, BD.
Yeah. And then about the whole Setien thing, it all comes down to Barcelona not really giving him time. I think Setien is a really good manager. He just needs the right players to gel in his system. A player like whatchamacallit, Griezmann, or even a player like Rakitic or Umtiti and these kind of guys, they don't fit into his system. That is why he's not having success. And I think Sarabia, his assistant, is one of the best assistants in Barcelona. And I'm so happy he's criticizing the players because Barcelona need that kind of assistant manager, someone who's going to criticize their players and criticize them and let them wake up. And I think Sarabia has done a perfect job in that.
So just to wrap things up, just from the question, like, so based on what you said, I assuming you think that like Real Madrid have basically got this title in the bag.
Yeah, because Setien does not have the right players to play the football that he wants, and B, Sarabia needs him and Setien Sarabia, I think, is the best people who can take over this Barcelona job. I don't see any other manager. Xavi's not going to do nothing if he comes to Barcelona. He's just going to be another one of those Artetas when he comes to Barcelona. So me personally, I think they should just suck it up and agree with what Sarabia is saying, because Sarabia and Setien, let me tell you something. Setien did an amazing job with Real Betis. Setien did an amazing job with Las Palmas. I've seen Setien with the right type of players do really well with a team like Las Palmas and Real Betis. He doesn't have that in Barcelona. He can't play a 4-3-1-2 because he doesn't have the right players. So give him time. That's my thing. Give him time. That's really all I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Speedy Core. Really appreciate it. Ash, I think you, from what I remember, you're a Real Madrid fan, and obviously been waiting backstage a bit as well. Like, what are your thoughts on Real Madrid potentially winning a title? And as they apologize, it's going to have to be a bit brief because we're going to have to move on. And a few people that want to have there as well. But what are your thoughts?
Okay, bro, just give me 2 minutes to talk.
Oh, what's up? What was that? I couldn't hear you.
It is 2 minutes.
Oh, need 2 minutes. Okay, fine, cool. Yeah. Okay, I'll just bring someone else in. LB, what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, let's just say hypothetically, if Real Madrid go on to win the La Liga title, it really does describe how important Zidane is for the club. If you look at last season when they were sort of rebuilding after the success that they had in the Champions League without Zidane as well, and the difference that he's made this season, props has to go to Zidane as a manager. As for the players, Hazard and Asensio, the players who were sort of, Asensio was injured and Hazard was overweight, which I think it was Muntaha mentioned. It's very unprofessional, but it's also important that you give him some time to gel with the team. And I think Real Madrid are willing to do that, to give him some time to get used to the way of playing. And I've always said that coming back after the pandemic or after having that unprecedented break in football would always suit Real Madrid because of the injuries that they had going into the pandemic. As I mentioned, Hazard was overweight and was struggling a bit with Real Madrid. And now that, we're back and football's being played, it's really starting to show that it has suited Real Madrid coming back and playing football, in comparison to, let's just say, Barcelona, where they're just continuing to rely on Lionel Messi, the fantastic player he is. He's not going to be able to continue to carry you year after year. You mentioned Red Devil, that he's in his 30s now, so he's obviously in the twilight end of his career, back end of his career. And if they continue to rely on Messi, they're going to continue to become exposed, as they have been in the past, i.e. last season's UEFA Champions League semi-final against Liverpool. So I certainly think Real Madrid can go on and win the La Liga title this season, which would be a great achievement for them, considering what they went through last season.
Fair enough. Thanks, B. Thanks for that. Ash is back. Ash, what are your thoughts on Real Madrid? I think, from what I remember, you're a Real Madrid fan. What are your thoughts that she win this time?
Bro, I'm a Barcelona fan, not a Madrid.
Oh, you're a Barcelona fan. Oh, that's the opposite. Okay. Okay. So the question still stands, though. Like, do you, as a Barca fan, do you see? Do you think Barca have a chance of winning this title now, or do you think it's Real Madrid's?
I think it's a 70-30 or most likely 75-25%, 75 in favor of Madrid and 25 in favor of Barca. So I was here on the channel last week. I told you that in away games we are extremely poor. It's almost opposite that how we play in home games and how we play in away games. The mentality is totally different. In home games, even if we are losing like 2-1, 3-1, but we know we can come back because it's Camp Nou. In away games, if we are 1-0 down, we know that we have no chance. Either it will be draw or it will be a loss. So, bro, first of all, I have to question Setien's lineup, especially the defense. The defense, the back four, Jordi Alba, PK, what's his name, Longley, and Nelson Semedo. They were on a run. They kept 5 clean sheets in their 5 years in a row. So why he change Longley and bring in Titi? I know Longley was on a yellow card, but bro, this is one of the most ordinary season. We haven't won Celta Vigo away since 2015. Yeah, like 5 years ago. So bro, I have to question his lineup, and bro, he doesn't have a control on the players. The players have too much power. You can see the video where Messi is ignoring Sarabi and Setien and walking away, and Suarez is calling him, come on, listen to the instructions. I think he doesn't have the control for the players. So I think we have a chance because Madrid have, I think, 2 big games in a span of very small time. They have to play Getafe on Friday, and after 2.5 days, they have to play Bilbao away. So, but I don't think. I think we can beat Atletico because it's in Camp Nou, but I don't think we will beat Villarreal. I don't think we are. I think we will lose badly. Like 3-1 or 2-1, 3-1. I think we will lose to Villarreal. But Setien has lost the power. He has lost the confidence of the dressing room, and I think there is only one solution to solve this. Madrid is going to win 34th their league title. I think we all know that last season Madrid had one of their worst seasons, if not the worst. But what they did for Zidane, their manager who won 3 back-to-back series. So I think it's time now to bring back Pep because it's the only solution for this problem.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. And before we just go into questions and answers, because I know we've been streaming for about 1.5 hours now, I'm just going to bring Shawnee, because I haven't heard Shawnee in a while. Shawnee, what's your thoughts on Real Madrid potentially winning the title? And then we're going to address some of the questions that have been posted in the chat. So, Shawnee, your thoughts?
Yeah, similar from what I said last week. It's 2 points. Anything.
4 points now. It's 4 points now because
4 points.
Point. I'll bring up the table again.
No, it's 2 points. It's 2 points.
2 points. 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points.
Yeah, sorry, 2 points. You're 2 right. Points. So it was 4.2, but that's the table there. Sorry, go on, Sean.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So like it's 2 points. Like anything can happen. Real Madrid can lose a game. I'm not saying that Barcelona will go unbeaten for the rest of the season because. Like your man said just now, they don't have typically good away form. But it's 2 points. Like anything can happen. I mean, one good thing for La Liga is that it's definitely more exciting than the Premiership. If you're not a Liverpool fan, but it was a very exciting season for me in the Premier League. But back to La Liga, it's 2 points. So it's just exciting. It's going to be a nail biter right to the end. Real Madrid are under pressure now. They can't afford to lose. Barcelona are under pressure. They can't afford to lose. So it's going to be great to watch him sort of battle it out right away to the end of the season. Like I say, anyone could drop points from now to the end. I don't know how many games are left, but I think it's still going to be any of them. Barcelona could still get there, or Real Madrid could just about hold on. It could go either way. So it's great. It's exciting. I'm really enjoying it.
Fair enough. Thanks, Johnny. So thanks to everyone who was thoughts on Real Madrid. So apologies. We're just going to move on just onto the topic. So as a shout out, I am planning hopefully on splitting these into two just so that people can have more time to have their say. We can get through more topics. I appreciate that. We've got so many topics to go through and so many people want to have their say. So the plan for those who are watching and those who are obviously partaking is to have one show on Monday still at this time, and to have another show probably 9 p.m. on Friday. Those will be the two splits. So 2 podcast days, one today and one tomorrow, so that we can just get that distribution going. So that's the plan, possibly from next week. So let's. I was going to talk another topic, but actually, I think there's quite a few questions and questions that were posted in the chat. So I want to quickly just sort of go through some of them, address them. So not to say that we've ignored them. And so I'm going to quickly go up because Adacha, who posted something a while back. Let me scroll up actually because it's not allowing me to see. Well, actually, I'll just remember. Basically, Adacha Raj actually says, "Do you think that I can't display it, unfortunately because it's been so far up because people have been talking about Aaron Wan-Bissaka versus Trent in the comments, so I can't get it back up." But basically, I think it's a question to the panel. This is from Adacha Raj, and he basically says, "Do you think that Leicester City will drop out of the top 4?" Now, I'll keep it brief, and I'll bring it back to Tom first because he hasn't spoken in a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, first I'll just say, a very good question to ask, obviously, because teams are having different, obviously, experiences coming back from the lockdown and everything. You look at Sheffield United, people betting money on Sheffield United to get into the Champions League place and everything, and they've not won a game since coming back from the lockdown. Exactly the same with Leicester. Leicester haven't won a single game. They've drew Watford, and I think they've drawn every other game, and they lost obviously to Chelsea in the FA Cup. But obviously we talk about the league and everything. I think Chelsea are just off of top of my head. I think they're 4 points behind them, and I think if Man United win tomorrow and go joint on points with Wolves, then they're, I think it's 6 points away from them. So in terms of Leicester have been dragged into this battle for the top 4. I think, before, when they had that massive run where people talked about them challenging for the title ahead of Manchester City and everything, people jumped the gun a bit. Brendan Rodgers obviously going in as a new manager and everything. In his first full season, has definitely achieved something good there. And even if he qualified for the Europa League, I think Leicester as a club would be happy to play in some form of European football. But I just think some of the games that Leicester have to play, I think they've still got to play. They've still got to play Manchester United at the end of the season. They've still got to play. I think they've got to play Wolves. I can't remember. Yeah. And I think they've still got to play. I think it's a Man City or a Liverpool. No, it's Man City, I think. Anyway, they've got to play some tough teams, and with the way that they've been playing currently, I can't really see them gaining points on these teams. And if they're not beating teams like Watford, you're in a tough tunnel. But I think I don't particularly think Leicester will get the top 4. I think I think they'll get sixth. If I'm being honest, I think it'll be Chelsea. I think of the way they've come back from the lockdown, have secured down a Champions League place, whether it's third or fourth. You know, I think they're going to play in the Champions League next year, regardless. And I think it just comes down to a battle between three, obviously.
Just to wrap up on. Sorry, I'm rushing. So your would be sixth place basically for Leicester, and then they will drop out.
Yeah, I think they'll drop out. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Thanks a lot. Let me just get in. So, Shawnee. Actually, so I haven't been Muntaha's for a while. Muntaha, do you think Leicester will drop out?
You know what? Actually, I want to give a sense of hope to Man United fans. You know, because I think they will play the last game with Man United, if I'm not wrong. You know, in Prem, isn't it? They have to play the last game of this league or something like that this season. Yeah, I think so. So I believe that. Yes, I think so. Leicester are going out. Because if you see the team, like the most affected team after the restart of this, league. So it's Leicester from top 4, top 5 teams. So I think so. Yeah, so I'll just keep sweet and short. I think so. Leicester will drop out some other way. Chelsea's making third. United making fourth. Yeah, that will happen. Yeah.
Thanks, Muntaha. BD Cork. Yeah, quickly. Leicester in or out?
I think this is a good question. I'm gonna say Leicester out. I think Leicester is going to be out. Yeah. Because wait. No, Chelsea gets third. Leicester will get fourth, so they're gonna be in.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm saying Leicester. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying Leicester in is, I don't trust Solskjaer because he's a rookie. Mourinho needs to work on his defense. His defenders are absolutely awful. They're ball carrying defenders. And then there was another question that someone said. It was like, who's better, Trent Alexander-Arnold or Wan-Bissaka?
All right, let's go. That's been debated for goodness knows how many pages in the chat.
Let me answer that.
You got like
so
10
based
seconds.
on
Go on.
Okay. Based on PES Master, Alexander-Arnold's defensive contribution is very, very poor. He's not really good as a defensive fullback. His tackling is horrible. And I would say Wan-Bissaka has a very good defensive contribution, fullback and a tackler. But what I will say about this is, I really want Spurs to go. I really want Spurs. I think they have the blend of something really good in the Champions League, but I don't think they're gonna do it. I think Leicester is actually they're gonna lose games, but they're gonna win games that will actually take them to the Champions League. And yeah, I'm sorry, but there's just too many points for United and Spurs to reach. Yeah.
Okay,
but
fair
Chelsea
enough.
gets third. Chelsea gets third.
Okay, fair enough. So I don't be we've got so many questions, and so some of these answers have got to literally just be brief, yes, no, and like 10 seconds as to why. So we've got some questions going. We're running out of time. LB. Chelsea, Leicester still in the top 4? Yay, nay?
I'd give it a nay. Just like most of the other people, I think that just the remaining few games that they have is just going to be a bit too much for them. United, I think City as well, and Tottenham. So some quality sides there. So it's a no for me.
Okay. Shawnee?
Yeah, no, I think they'll probably hang on. Brendan Rodgers, he can, like I say, it's straight. It's odd that we've had this strange break in the middle of our season, or towards the end of our season. But I think he'll be able to rally the troops enough to just stay in the Premier in the Champions League spot. So I'm just gonna go in. I'll keep it short for you because I know you want to go. But I think they'll have enough to challenge for the Champions League next year.
Okay, and Ash, last thing before we go into the next question, just 2 more questions. Ash, yay, nay, Leicester City, in or out? Will they drop in or drop out?
Yeah, bro. I will answer a question, but first But firstly, can I ask a short question to Muntaha? Just a short question. Please.
Okay, literally, got to be a minute. Okay, we don't have time.
Okay.
Go for it.
Muntaha, you were 10 minutes ago. You were saying that Madrid had a tough pictures with Bilbao and Getafe, but I just checked. Don't you think that the game against Villarreal can be a tricky one?
Sorry. Can you say it again, please? I can't hear you, bro.
No, I'm saying that you said that Madrid had only 2 tough games against Getafe and Bilbao, but can you see that
Oh, Villarreal, you mean? You mean Villarreal, right?
Yeah.
Bro, by the time when we playing Villarreal, it's like second last game. So we'll come to know that like Villarreal is like at what position? Are they trying for top 4, top 6, or they are out of top 6? So for example, right? If they are in top 4, top 6, top 6, for example. So it's pretty much done and dusted for them, So by the time when we play them, it's like either they're top 4 or they're top 6. So it's really easy for us, to beat them. And it's in what do you call it, Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium as well. So we are not playing away, because playing it like Villarreal away, that's dangerous, So I believe that game will be like, I won't say easier, but like much more lenient and like compared to Bilbao away. Yeah.
Okay. So as far the EPL is concerned, I think Leicester has a tough games coming up, and I don't think that they will finish top 4. I think Chelsea will, and I think top 4 will be City. Liverpool of course, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and United. Yeah, top 4. And they will play and Wolves and Leicester will play in the Europa League.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, guys. So just quickly, so 2 more questions. Like I said, these are obviously going to be brief. There's quite a few that I think I'll just save for future chats, because we're going to be talking about some of them sort of later. So what I'll do is I'll get, well, this one should be quite brief actually. So let me get up 2 seconds, because everyone. And maybe just United fans can answer this. So how many titles can Man United win in the next 10 years? Realistic opinions. So I'll just address
God.
So Tom, who's the United fan, I don't really need everyone to address this. So, but in like literally in about like a few seconds, Tom, how many titles do you think United can win in the next 10 years?
Well, it depends, obviously, with what we're building and everything. I think it takes another 2 years just to get to even possibly coming close to winning it, and it's going to have to be some team to beat Liverpool, obviously, to the title over the next 5 years. So realistically, I'd probably say out of 10 years, probably 2 or 3 titles maybe, and then that's just being like max in a sense, because I don't think we're going to win. I think we'd be looking to win 1, to be honest, with the way our rivals are at the moment, way Chelsea's building and everything. So I'd probably say 2 or 3.
Don Ragnar, always with the jokes. This is his answer. So -5.
Wouldn't disagree.
5. Average Joe says 3, possibly 4. So just another sort of question coming in. This is actually from Sammy before she left. Who's the best 21-year-old in the world? I'm assuming this is part of the Wan-Bissaka, Trent Alexander debate going on, but just one. If you had to pick one from everyone in the panel, who's the best 21-year-old in the world, not counting Mbappe?
Name me some players.
LB. Let me get the best 21-year-old.
Haaland, I'd probably say. Is Haaland 21?
No, 19, bro. He's 19.
Oh,
I don't know players who are 21 actually.
21. I think it'll be easier to say, because I think 21 is too specific. Any player that's under the age of 21.
Can I say it, bro? Like, can I go for it? For me, I'm a bit subjective. Please don't take me that personally, but like I believe Martin Odegaard is one of the best midfielders this season at the age of 21. Because of what he's showing up in La Liga this season, and like his stats and his chance creation, everything, and the age of 21 dribbling stats are insane. I mean, that guy's like one of the best players for Real Sociedad, and they're challenging for top 4 in La Liga for Champions League football. So I believe that's my one 21. Yeah.
Fair point.
Okay. Anybody else? I know. Yeah, Average says it was a biased question. Yeah, I got that. I just think it's just quite an interesting question. LB. Well, let's just change it to under the age of 21.
Okay. I'd probably say, Haaland.
Haaland. Shawnee?
That's a tough question. I mean, if you even got Havertz to think about, he's a young kid coming through. That's an outstanding talent.
Nice shout, yeah. Nice, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, Jadon Sancho. What, he's 20? Is he 19, 20?
Yeah, 20,
19.
yeah.
20, yeah. So there's plenty to pick from. Who's the best out of them? Well, I don't really know. I'll go with Havertz, I guess, just because he's just the most exciting. Like in terms of wanting to know or you know, like the future of a player, Havertz definitely is the one that you're sort of looking at to see how he's going to develop. Like he could be the best midfielder, you know, in the world in the coming couple of years.
Fair enough. BD Core, best 21-year-old and under, not including Mbappe. And Geography says it's 21 yet. Ha ha ha, lols. BD Core, best player under the age of 21. BD Core, you there? Ooh, not there. Okay. Tom, best under 21 player.
Well, if I had to choose somebody who's like really young.
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
I'll come back to you in a second.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Before. I'll just mute you back for a second. Tom, just go on. Sorry.
If I had to name someone who's like really young and like a prospect and everything, I'd probably say Mason Greenwood. I think he's a future star, one for the future and everything. But if I had to say somebody in like current success for his age, I'd say Haaland. What with the goals and everything at Salzburg, and rightly deserved his move to Dortmund, and Dortmund's a good place to further on your career when you're a young player. And Jadon Sancho's the proven proof. So that's what I'd say.
Fair enough. BD Core, best player under the age of 21.
Yes. I was so happy he mentioned Greenwood. I really want him. I'm like willing to get 110 from you guys, and then we get Mason Greenwood. It would just like solve the whole problem. I want to say, this is a really good one. I know I'm a Dortmund fan, but I don't think Sancho cuts it, and neither do I think Haaland cuts it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best 21 as of right now, as we're speaking, I'm gonna say, oh my goodness.
You can say Alphonso Davies if you want to.
Yeah,
What's a good one?
Alphonso Davies.
Wait, sorry.
Oh, the Bayern Munich player.
Bayern Munich.
So Alphonso Davies,
I'd go with him.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll go for him. The reason why I'm going for him is because he came from a refugee camp from Ghana. So he's just been so good, from the MLS to come to Bayern Munich, a huge club like that, and to make this kind of huge impact is amazing. I also want to mention Pavard. I don't know if Pavard is 21, but Pavard has been exceptional this season. So I'm gonna put Alphonso Davies and Pavard. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then lastly, I'm just gonna get Ash in. Ash, your best under 21 player right now.
So it has to be exactly 21, or it can be under or over 21.
Under 21. 21.
Okay.
Not including Mbappe.
Okay. So the reason I can't name Alfonso Davies or Kai Havertz because I don't rate Bundesliga that highly, and so that because I don't rate Bundesliga that highly because I think it's a farmers league. So for me, I think that's why I am picking Benzema over Lewandowski as the best player in the world right now. So as far as the under 21 years old best at the age of 21 is concerned, I will take Vinicius Junior. I think he has impressed me because I think he can destroy any defender. He is good at dribbling at uh, uh, at, at pace. I think he's very good. The only thing he lacks, I think, is finishing. But I think Vinicius if not the best, if he is one of the best under 21 players right now. I'm going with Vinicius.
Okay, fair enough. Has everyone had their say on what their best 21,
Yeah.
21 player is? Yep.
Yes.
Awesome,
Yeah, okay.
awesome. Right, sorry guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up. But thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said, and thank you for everyone that was involved. Really appreciate everyone that's getting involved. Like I said, because obviously there's so many, I really want to talk more topics and get more voices in. We're all on time, so I am hoping and planning to split this into 2 podcasts. One on Monday evening and one on Friday evening UK time, 9 p.m. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, follow us on Twitter, X, and smash the notification button to get involved. Have a nice day, guys. Take care, everybody, and cheers.